When I plan my attack, when I plan my attack, I doubt that you're ready. Rhymes like bullets penetrate your zone. One time on the MIC. When I plan my attack, I doubt that you're ready. Rhymes like bullets penetrate your zone. On the MIC.
Yeah. White on the track again, PPL is back again, coming for the Patty's twins, cause she the champion. It's the Pantheon Cup we all battle for. When rivals get to scrapping, it's a savage war. This is what we waited for. Finally, y'all, the time is here. Fantasy is back. My favorite fucking time of year. Light your bloods a tie now. PPL is live now. The show where shit gets real, dog. We're all after the pie now. Geno in the jet, he hosts the show, uploading videos. He does it all from A to Z. You like the league to pay the fee or win it all and play for free. Play to be the best or lazy. It's a league of competition. Still the crown, that's the mission. Dog, it's time to get it cracking, plan your moves and start attacking. PPL is back in action, teams get mad, you know what happens. Hate each other, play with passion, build a team with trades and drafting. I think I done said my part, it's time for PPL to start.
When I plan my attack, when I plan my attack, I doubt that you're ready. Rhymes like bullets penetrate your zone.
Welcome, we are here. It is week 2. Week 1 is in the books. It is over. We have our new fresh season underway. Ulysses as Hate is on the line here. Geno the Gent is hosting. We're ready to go. But before we get into week 2, we got to give you a nice little recap of week 1. Starting with our week 1 scores. And the Mean Machine falling to the Argonauts 115-101. Only for the Boss does it in the prestige matchup of the week, defeating Patty's Twins 133-100. Squad underestimated, leave no doubt with the new look team 167 to the Baby Gas team's 102. Appease the Gods shocks the PPL in a stellar performance led by David Montgomery 144-105 over the Gaff. And the United Players, the Destroyers, the true upset of the week, the shocker of the week. Everybody got this one wrong. Nearly leave no doubt themselves 160 to the darlings of PPL Live, the Skulls 82. All right, so let's get into the PPL standings that brought to you by ESPN Fantasy Trends, presented by Snickers. We're going to start at number 10, the Baby Gas team, who fell to the team that left no doubt squad underestimated. Number 9, the Gaff, with a huge gaff of their own, leaving Trey Sermon in the lineup. The Mean Machine at 8 after losing to the Argo. Patty's Twins, the PPL champs, at 7. The United Players, the Destroyers, after an impressive performance, come in at 6. Number 5, we have Appease the Gods, holding steady after their big performance. At number 4, Only for the Boss drops 4 spots despite their performance. Even without the coach, they were able to get to 133. And at number 3, the Skulls hold completely steady despite an embarrassing loss, probably the most controversial ranking of them all. Number 2, the Argonauts dropped 1 spot after a putrid performance, getting by the Mean Machine, and squad underestimated jumps to number 1 after a big week from Kyler Murray and the rest of the cast of squad underestimated. Any surprises here? Any overreactions that you see here, Ulysses?
I mean, I think the biggest overreaction is Only for the Boss dropping to 4. I don't understand it.
Right.
The other head scratcher to me was at the 9-10 flip-flop. I mean, Baby Gas team Gaff. I think, we could have stayed pat there. Those teams still, I think, have some ground to prove. But I think overall, my biggest surprise was Only for the Boss drop.
Yeah, man. That drop's probably surprising. I think my biggest surprise, I mean, just looking at it, is the Skulls stand steady at 3 despite the loss. I mean, they almost got outscored by almost 100 points, man, and they're still staying at number 3. That one's probably one that's a little bit of a head scratcher, but the Skulls have great future prospects, and that is a final standings projection. So without further ado, let's get into something that has gotten real popular already. We're going to jump into the good, the bad, and the ugly. All right, Ulysses, you know how it is, man. Give me your good, bad, and ugly from week 1.
And the good, bad, and ugly it was, Geno. Started on that Thursday night with that Bucks Fiesta. I'm going United Playas for my good. I think the only thing this team really did that I thought was anything but good was not starting Godwin.
Okay.
And I told him that last week. Damn near left no doubt, as you said, on the quote unquote princes of the draft. Again, I'm feeling like well, we'll get into that.
Right.
Bottom line, this team showed scoring potential. Bench had 80 plus points.
Yeah.
Hell, some people were looking at that bench probably wishing they had drafted some of these guys we were laughing at.
Right.
I'm not saying this is a great team, but with decent, not even great management, this team will ruin some weeks, and it might be the Gaff this week.
Wow.
As far as bad goes, all you got to say is twins, followed by Aaron. Enough said there. I mean, ownership cannot be happy with how Aaron is. I know how this owner gets. And I'll say, like, Matthew Stafford is probably looking pretty decent. And right now, the Twins are going to have to be questioning Aaron for Stafford week in and week out.
There were we did, Ulysses. Just to piggyback on that, we did get a tweet from Patty's Twins official PPO Twitter account, letting it be known that 33 points were left on their bench. Started Aaron, bench Stafford. She tweeted that out, and it got a like from ESPN. So just so you know.
Ooh, yeah. See, that's what I'm talking about. So, week in, week out, I think that this is going to be the season of transition. I know she wasn't feeling that Gibson fumble. Things can get right, but they started bad for the former champs.
Right.
As far as ugly goes, it's got to be the Skulls. I mean, I got one thing right about that UP Skulls matchup, and that was that a team wouldn't crack 100. I just got the team wrong. But, you've got two people going negative. You've got only 3 people meeting or exceeding their expectation. The starting lineup only outscored the bench by 6 points.
Yeah.
That's not a good look.
No, not at all.
It was ugly, but I expect the Skulls to get right. But perhaps Geno's and, frankly, my coronation after draft night was misplaced. It happens.
Week one, not a Pantheon Cup has never been won week one. So the Skulls have a lot of time to make up for it. All right, man, I'm going to give you my good, man. I got to do it. I got to give the Devil their due. They were awesome on opening day. I'm going only for the boss here. It was obvious that only for the boss, like I said, they were going to do their thing. That game was close, and by the time Tyreek Hill was done and Patrick Mahomes was done, it wasn't close anymore. This was with a 15-point coach loss. The scoring potential on only for the boss is scary, and with a negative from a running back. So only for the boss gets my good, hands down. I'm looking forward to seeing how they perform on Sunday night against the Baltimore defense. But only for the boss is looking good, and I'm feeling comfortable about my Pantheon Cup pick. My bad is a team that we used to always pick to win the Pantheon Cup, and that's the Argonauts. It just didn't look good. The coach loss was sloppy. We had guys fumbling and bumbling everywhere. I mean, I'm talking Dalvin Cook fumbling away the game, Nick Chubb with the crucial fumble. We had helmets bouncing off of George Kittle's helmet. It was just a wacky day for the Argo. It was bad. Now it can get better, and they did win. That's why they're only bad, because nothing was as ugly as what I saw from the Gaff this week. A huge Gaff, as I said earlier, leaving Trey Sermon in the lineup. And this is a championship team, a battle-tested franchise. You just don't expect this sloppy play from the Gaff. And to get it week one just lets me know that maybe that offseason wasn't a fluke, and this franchise is just starting to fall on hard times. But that aside, man, we're going to jump into week 2. And we're going to start off in the Alpha Conference as only for the boss takes on the Mean Machine. All right, Ulysses, so here we are. We're here for week 2, only for the boss, Mean Machine. The boss obviously having a great performance despite the coach loss. And the Mean Machine, I mean, it just showed again. You keep Amari Cooper and you keep Alvin Kamara and don't do that dumbass trade. And, hey, you beat the Argo week 1, make a statement, have a great week. But instead, you're sitting at 0-1 with Kenny Golladay and Odell Beckham, who is yet to make an appearance, still not going to play this week. What do you think of this matchup?
Yeah, I mean, I think that was for the boss. That was a great revenge win. I mean, it's not a PPL title. It's not going to heal those wounds.
Right.
But you want to get that one out of your system. This way they can really just focus on this season,
Right.
this campaign. I feel like they really just kind of came out, made a statement against the champs, and are really set up well. I'll say, I had picked them to lose last week. This team is damn near unbeatable when the Chiefs aren't on a bye, and they are all suiting up this week. So
Right.
this is going to be problematic for the Machine. I don't like his D, and I don't like his coach. I don't think that matters.
Okay.
Frankly, with the rest of the star power. Machine, I think you covered all the major points there. I mean, frankly, they did better than I expected last week with the off-season moves, but I think that they're still reeling, and I think not keeping Amari Cooper is looking like a huge mistake. I mean, I could tell you, looking at Juju Smith-Schuster at that number 2, Amari's looking like he was the guy to pick there instead.
Right.
If you were to go for a wideout, I think that the boss ultimately just has a lot more weapons than the Machine. I've got them leaving, no doubt, actually, this week.
Okay.
149 to 123.
Oh, wow. Putting it up on them, man. Putting it on them. All right, man. Like I said, there are certain things to like about the Mean Machine. And no, they didn't look good last week. I mean, they only scored, I believe, 100 points. I mean, they barely cleared 100. It was just that the Argonauts looked that bad, and they were in the matchup that you thought they looked better than they looked. But no, they were trash. And I don't think that that's going to change this week. I do like the Nyheim Hines pickup in the flex. It's all like, hey, we rolling the dice. I mean, hey, why not? James Robinson, I don't understand why he wasn't getting more touches. I think that's part of why we saw the turnovers out of our boy Trevor Lawrence. I think that James Robinson has to get more involved in that offense. The 49ers were susceptible to the run last week. I actually really liked the Miles Sanders play. And Robbie Anderson is good for a big play, but he's not a consistent target in that offense yet, so we'll see there. I hate his receiver plays. I love the T.J. Hawkinson play on Monday night. He was devastating to the Niners and the Argonauts, but I think that he'll be equally as devastating on Monday night against the Packers defense that I was not impressed with. I love the coaching defense, but, I mean, we know what this is. This is only for the boss, setting themselves up to get their first Alpha Conference victory, setting themselves up for a run for an Alpha Conference title. And I think the Mean Machine is nothing but a speed bump to make reference to a former team. I'm going to go with only for the boss winning this matchup. I'm going to say 134 to the Mean Machine's 118. And moving on to our next matchup, we go into the Omega Conference for a crucial matchup as Patty's Twins, the reeling Pantheon Cup champions, take on the Princes of the Draft. And our pick to do big things this year, not looking good so far, the Skulls. All right, man, so we basically laid it out. This is a must-win territory for both teams. The champs can't afford to let this go. Obviously, the Skulls, they need this victory if they're to live up to the lofty expectations that PPL Live has put on them. What do you think of this matchup? I like Josh Allen to bounce back, but Miami's a tough defense. And I like Aaron Rodgers to bounce back, but what's going on there? We got Twins and Skulls. What you think?
I love this matchup with two teams that I thought would win last week.
Right.
Frankly, the losses make this a more intriguing matchup. And I think that as I look at this matchup, the word that comes to mind is exposure. Because these teams got exposed last week.
Wow.
I'll say in week 2, week 1, I'll say probably most teams in the PPL were looking at these two teams thinking these guys are going to be hard to beat. I don't think that same muster is there in week 2.
Okay.
And, maybe that's premature, but what I do like happening is, with the injury in San Francisco, the Twins getting Mitchell, I think that's quality.
Right.
But to quote someone recently, Aaron Rodgers looked like a fool. I mean, that was a terrible performance. He looked like he needed some preseason work. The Twins have great matchups this week, but I think the 49ers D may have problems with Hurts and Philly. I don't know
Agreed.
if that's the start I'd be going with. Looking at the other side, again, Skulls got it last week. There ain't no way to say. If I'm looking at this matchup and saying, am I expecting a repeat? I'm thinking not so fast, my friend.
Right.
This is a get-right week for the Skulls. I think Allen has a field day in Miami. I think Edwards and Hilaire and Jones show that they are capable to produce. And I think that with with Russ and company going to Tennessee, I think that this is DK's week. I think he was overshadowed by
we saw the passing game of the Cardinals explode on Tennessee.
Yeah, I think DK is going to get it this week, and I think that the Skulls win this one in a tight one, and I've got them go 134 to 130.
Okay. Oh, close one, man. You know what? Let's make it interesting because I think I want to go the other way. I like Antonio Gibson bouncing back tomorrow against the New York Giants. The Broncos are able to run up and down the field on the Giants, control the ball, have good time of possession, and control the football completely well. I mean, they were able to run it, they were able to pass control it, and able to do what they wanted with the football. I don't see why the Washington football team can't do the same. I know it's a divisional matchup, but I really like Gibson getting right on a short week here. He's a young guy, so he has the spring in his step to bounce back for a quick Thursday night game. So I love the Antonio Gibson play. Jonathan Taylor, I saw David Montgomery gashing. I saw David Montgomery doing his thing, and I think that Jonathan Taylor is of equal talent to a David Montgomery. So I think that he can do some things against the LA Rams, especially in a home matchup. Where things start to get interesting for the Twins is the receiver spot. These two guys are possession receivers, Woods and Allen. She needs a little more explosion in her passing game, and I think that's part of what's been slowing her down, aside from the elephant in the room that is Aaron Rodgers. On the Skull side, I do love Josh Allen, but and I love Terry McLaurin, but man, get this guy a quarterback. I mean, I really think that the fact that they have musical chairs at QB in Washington is really becoming a detriment to this young man's value. I like the Darrell Henderson play because he has a lot of promise, especially with Matthew Stafford at quarterback. And it's going to be a close matchup, but I'm not surprised. Don't be surprised if Buffalo struggles against Miami again. The game is in Miami. I do like Denver at Jacksonville. I love what Denver's defense was able to do against a rookie quarterback. And I'm not as concerned with Jalen Hurts. I do feel what you're saying there, but I really, really like the fact that the Niners are able to hang in there, hunker back down after giving up a few possessions when they took their foot off the pedal. I think they keep their foot on the gas this time on the Eagles, and they're just fine. I got Patty's Twins bouncing back this week, 131 to the Skulls, 127. I think the Skulls might have to struggle from the 0-2 spot, but due to the expanded playoffs seeding, I think they're still going to be okay. Moving on to our next matchup, we go into the Alpha Conference as the Argonauts take on the Baby Gas team. All right, man, so we got Argo, BGT here. The Argonauts obviously weren't very impressive in their matchup against the Mean Machine. That was a matchup they could have lost, had things gone a little bit differently. Obviously, the Baby Gas team got wiped out by Squad Underestimated, but they showed some promise. I like what I saw from Russell Wilson, Josh Jacobs, and Deontay Johnson. And I think Antonio Brown's a guy they should be looking at. What do you think of this matchup?
Yeah, I mean, being the BGT, I mean, they got no doubt left on him. But I think that, he's ready to turn it around. I love the matchups for the BGT this week.
Right.
We saw what Kyler Murray did last week to that Tennessee defense. I expect Russ to get it done. We just said, I think that, DK is going to be a big part of that. That's why I have the Skulls winning. Mm-hmm. And so I think that the BGT is well positioned. On the other side here, I think the Argos are the unhappiest 1-0 team out there.
Okay.
They can't be happy with how their team played. I know this owner likes explosion, and especially at the running back position,
we didn't see it.
It wasn't there. I mean, and you could call it game planning, you could call it good defenses, but I'll tell you, he's not happy. Dak looks solid, which I think's encouraging. But you know what? The composition of this team, I'm gonna be surprised if we don't see some movement by the Argo. And by week 4, this team looks a lot different. But right now, I think that they're still in a transition period, and I got the BGT and a squeaker here going upset special 127 over the Argos 125.
All right, I'm going to disagree with you here. Looking at this matchup, I agree with you with the Dak thing, the Dak situation. That was some good news. It was good to see him move around and also throw the football with accuracy and precision. I mean, the guy, he looked really good. He was a little hesitant running the football, so it shows that he may not trust that ankle all the way yet. So that's something that remains worth monitoring. Russell Wilson, he always starts the season like this. He starts the season with explosions, and that's what I think gives the Baby Gas team a good chance of doing what you're talking about them doing. Josh Jacobs at Pittsburgh, The Bills are averaging 6 yards a carry against the Steelers and went away from their running game. I don't think the Raiders, if they have that kind of success, are going to do that. So Josh Jacobs may be primed for a decent matchup. I don't like what Mike Davis and the Atlanta Falcons did against the Philadelphia Eagles, and I think Tampa Bay is going to be able to shut a lot of that running game down. Looking over at DJ Moore, the Saints, they look pretty tough, and it looks like it's really wide open in that Carolina offense, and a lot of the balls are just going to go to Christian McCaffrey, and that lowers DJ Moore's ceiling, but he's a big play specialist, and obviously Johnson in Pittsburgh, he can always make a catch. Now, on the Argonaut side, Dalvin Cook fumbled the game away. We had talked about that earlier, but I think he's due for a bounce back, so to speak. I know the Cardinals did a very good job of limiting Derrick Henry, but Dalvin's a little bit different of a running back than Derrick. Derrick's a big guy. He's easy to find. Dalvin's a little more shifty and quick, so that might present problems for their D-line. Nick Chubb, he looked awesome, and I expect that to continue. And obviously, I think Devontae Adams and the Packers are due for a get-right game at home on Monday night against Detroit. That being said, I think it will be a little closer than people think. I understand why you did pick the BGT. I see some room for them to get dumb, especially if they make a few adjustments. But that being said, minus those adjustments, I still like the Argonauts winning this matchup. I'm going to say 131 to the BGT's 119. Moving on to our next matchup, we go into the Omega Conference as the United Players, the Destroyers, take on the Gaff Attack. All right, man, so this matchup is crucial here. The Gaff is obviously sitting at 0-1. The defending Omega champs are reeling. They obviously had the embarrassment of the weekend, leaving a running back that was inactive in their starting lineup. On the other side, United Players, everybody seems to be active in their lineup and on their bench. What do you think of this matchup, man? United Players, Gaff.
Yeah, I mean, the Gaff, the returning Omega champs, they got a blessing last week.
Okay.
I mean, I think that margin was more than they were expecting, especially on those Thursday night performances. I know, getting a good evening out of CD and Mike Evans just not showing up. He had to be feeling good. So I know at the end of this, that one stung. I think that the Winston pickup is sexy but unnecessary.
Right.
Jalen to me looked like the real deal.
Quarterback's not the problem on this team.
In depth, but again, I said it earlier. I think he's going to be a handful for San Francisco. I'm not so sure. Again, they made Jared Goff look awfully capable down the stretch there.
Right.
And again, this team's not really in a position to do that yet. Again, I saw a lot of firepower, but losing a Mostert, like, that's got to affect your game calling.
Huge.
Again, Mitchell can come in, he's capable, but I mean, Detroit's trash. So I think that San Fran's really going to have a much different game here, and I think Jalen's going to be a beneficiary of that. I think the Gaff's liabilities at running back showed up. And
okay.
Even if he benches starting last week, he doesn't get RB production at that elite level, and that's what you need to do to be successful in the PL. I think that the D and head coach could also be liabilities for him here. Looking at the other side, props to the UP. I mean, again, they were my good mention of the week. They killed it in my eyes. I mean, starting with that, I mean, if they would have started Godwin, they'd have 60, damn near 70 points on Thursday night.
Right.
And the way that I saw Tom's going to be throwing the ball a lot, and he's going to get production. This team proved that they have all the right pieces, but I'm concerned about mismanagement. Maybe the lineup changes, but as it stands, the best players are not in, and I still think he gets it done.
Okay.
I've got the UP going 129 to 112.
Okay. You know what, man? I'm actually going to have to agree with you on this one. The UP showed so much explosion last week that I think the Gaff's lack of running backs is going to make it very tough for them. Even if their receivers were to explode, I feel like the Gaff stack of Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski's on a mission, man. From what I saw last week, this guy's back. He's back to being a starting tight end. He's not a rotational tight end anymore. Last year he was a rotational guy. This year he's the number one tight end, and he's going to be in the Patriots, the Buccaneers lineup week in and week out. And that was probably a brilliant stack keep by the United Players. We were a little hard on his keepers, but in hindsight, seeing Gronk get out there and look like the Gronk of old, especially with that time to recover, I think him and Tom are going to light up the record books this season, especially for catches, tight end touchdown catches. I think Gronk could very well lead the league in touchdown catches this year. Looking around at everything else, I love Cooper Kupp with Matthew Stafford. I mean, Cooper Kupp's a deep threat, and he's a possession receiver. A lot of people don't give him the credit he deserves because he's a smaller guy, and Robert Woods does steal a lot of the shine, as well as everybody else in Los Angeles. But Cooper Kupp is a very, very good player, and I think that he's going to be a guy that's going to be able to help the United Players all season long. Derrick Henry's in for a good get-right week, and I think the Seattle defense is tough, but I think Derrick Henry's also a tough player. I think that he's going to get back to doing the things that he does well. The Steelers D, I think that they're going to be able to slow down Derek Carr a little bit, forcing him into some more turnovers and get the win there. And then obviously the Chiefs coach, I still like them against Baltimore coming up this weekend. On the Gav side, I love Jalen Hurts. I love D-Hop. I love A.J. Brown and C.D. Lamb. I love his receivers, his flex, and his QB, and that's about it. Cleveland D, I mean, Houston put up like 37 points last week. And, I mean, I get it. You might not think that they can play, but they showed that they can play last week. I mean, the Jacksonville Jags are still an NFL team, and I don't think that game's going to be as much of a walkover as people think between Cleveland and Houston. I do like the New Orleans head coach at Carolina, but division games can be sneaky, and Carolina knows how to play the Saints, so that could be a liability also. I just like the United Players a little more. Like now, obviously, he can go the complete other way now that we're picking him, but I just don't see it. I mean, I think that DeAndre Swift is also a good play on Monday night. I got the United Players winning this matchup, 124 to the Gavs 117. And moving on to the prestige matchup of the week, we have another interconference clash as Appease the Gods of the Omega Conference takes on Alpha's Squad Underestimated. All right, man, so here we go. It's here. It's ready to go. Squad Underestimated, Appease the Gods. Appease the Gods putting up a surprisingly spectacular 144. Squad Underestimated, obviously leading, no doubt. You talked about the stark differences in the Alpha and Omega conferences. Here we go right here. Appease the Gods, Squad Underestimated, man. Prestige matchup of the week. I'm ready for this one. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, ATG got a crucial win last week against Gas. I mean, getting three points on a Thursday night, it leads you to wonder what's going to happen. I mean, again, they went into Sunday, made some changes to their lineup, got Devontae in there as well as a check on Jalen Hurts. The Broncos D showed up and got at Daniel Jones. And when this team can score like this, when Lamar struggles, you're going to be all right.
Right.
And frankly, I love ATG's matchups this week.
Okay.
Top to bottom, I don't think that this team really has a hard matchup in front of them. If guys go out there and do their thing, I think we saw what the Rams are bringing to the game. I think that's a sneaky good head coach pick.
Right.
They're going to be hard just with that volume of big playability that Stafford and all those wide receiving and offensive weapons. The Rams are gonna they to me strike as that new look Saints team that they could really get done with Stafford's arm ability if they can protect him, keep that guy healthy. That being said, other side squad, leading no doubt, I mean, exceeding expectations. I mean, this team looked like the best team in the PPL last week, speaking the number one language of the PPL.
Okay.
And so this lineup is strong. Perhaps their only challenge, and I mean this, their only challenge I see is effectively managing all this talent. I think that Squad's got a quality roster here. Does he get the best people in the starting lineup? And that's going to be challenging. I know that's not a problem he's typically had to face. And I do see that Brown's collapse is concerning. This guy, let's not kid, was so active on the board last week with player moves after that Thursday night. He was looking to week 2.
Okay.
After Thursday night, he was looking at to week 2 already. And I don't know why he's going with the Browns. That collapse, again, concerning to me. Maybe not to everybody else. I was on the Browns a few years ago. I'm not there anymore.
Right.
This is the same Browns team, and I think that they can certainly lose to the Texans I saw last week. I think this one lives up to the prestige matchup hype, but I think ultimately ATG has the right weapons. I've got this one 141 to Squad's 136.
Okay. I disagree. I'm going to go with Squad Underestimated here. Yeah, Kyler Murray's good. He had a great week. Christian McCaffrey, obviously, he was mixed. He looked like his old self, and sometimes you wonder that after an injury. I think that he's going to do his thing. Adam Thielen, he had a huge game, and I think that that's probably one of the things that they may not be able to rely on a weekly basis is the production from those receivers, because those receiving cores have other mouths that need to get fed. It happened to be Thielen and Cooper's week the same week. Not that I don't think they can be consistent. I think that they can be, but that is something worth monitoring. Kyle Pitts, average first week. I think that as the season goes along, Matt Ryan needs to learn that playbook. He's always struggles his first year with a new offensive coordinator. And then Chris Carson, he's projected high against the Tennessee Titans, but I think that's going to be a shootout. I think that's going to be a big passing game. Not saying Chris Carson can't hit that number, but I think that it might be a little high. Now, on ATG's side, obviously, I felt like I was more impressed with them than most of the teams in the league, save for the Lamar Jackson situation. I mean, these guys were going to be my good and the good, bad, and the ugly until I saw Monday night's effort. I expected way more out of Lamar. And Lamar's ineffectiveness affected Mark Andrews, and I think that kind of stifled ATG, and they can't have that this week in this matchup if they want to be squad underestimated. Obviously, they've given a team that is going to help them put up big scores on a weekly basis, so ATG is going to have to bring it. They're going to need more big plays from Tyler Lockett. I like the Allen Robinson play, and I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't mind them going back to Devonta Smith again. The San Francisco 49ers showed that their defense can get gashed, so I don't see why they can't there. In the end, though, I think squad underestimated gets this matchup just based on, like you said, what the number one roster that I'm looking at here. I do like the Kamara play at Carolina, and I like McCaffrey against New Orleans. I like them against each other, basically. So that being said, and then Kyler, obviously, I think is going to be able to get some big plays. Minnesota gave up a lot of big plays to the Bengals. So I got squad underestimated getting their win. 135 to ATG's 126. Alrighty, PPLers, thank you for another week of PPL Live. We are here. We are set for the weekend. We're going to get us set for Thursday night. Washington football team taking on the New York Giants, and then we'll close out with Patty's Twins, seeing if Aaron Rodgers can get back on track against the Detroit Lions. You guys have a good weekend.